Are you wrestling with fear and anxiety? You're not alone. It's a common human experience. We've all felt the icy grip of fear at some point, haven't we? It's part of being human. But what if I told you there's a powerful antidote to fear? A source of strength and comfort that can help us rise above our anxieties. That source is divine comfort and protection. As believers, we're assured of God's constant presence in our lives. This assurance is a powerful tool that can help us cultivate fearlessness. Fearlessness doesn't mean we never feel afraid. Rather, it means we don't let fear control us. We learn to push through it, armed with the knowledge that we're never alone. This is the essence of a believer's life. Embracing this fearlessness can transform our lives in profound ways. So let's explore 10 Bible verses that assure us, do not fear, God is with you. Our first scripture is from the book of Isaiah, chapter 41, verse 10. Here Isaiah, a prophet in Israel, communicates a powerful message from God to his people. The verse is a comforting assurance that God is with us, providing strength and help in times of need. It's a reminder that we need not be afraid or dismayed, for God upholds us with his righteous right hand. We see a similar sentiment in Joshua chapter 1, verse 9. This is a command from God to Joshua, who was leading the Israelites into the promised land. God encourages Joshua to be strong and courageous, reiterating that he will be with him wherever he goes. This verse is a testament to God's promise of his constant presence, even in the face of challenges and unknown territories. In these verses, God clearly promises his unfailing presence and help. Moving on, we have Psalm 23, 4 and Isaiah 43, 1, 2. Psalm 23, 4 is nestled within one of the most beloved psalms, often recited for solace. It paints a vivid picture of walking through a dark valley, yet not fearing any evil. This is because God is right there with us, guiding us with his rod and staff, offering comfort in our darkest moments. Isaiah 43, 1, 2 is equally powerful. Here, God tells Israel, and by extension all of us, that we are his. He has redeemed us, called us by name, and we belong to him. He promises to be with us as we pass through deep waters and walk through fire. The waters won't sweep over us, the fire won't burn us. These scriptures reassure us that God is our protector and comforter, even in our darkest hours. In times of fear, uncertainty, or trial, we can take refuge in the knowledge that God is with us, offering comfort and protection. Next, we delve into Deuteronomy 31:6, Psalm 27, 1, and Zephaniah 3:17. In Deuteronomy, the verse encourages us to be strong and courageous, reminding us that God is always with us, even in the face of adversity. He will never leave nor forsake us. This is a powerful affirmation of God's unending presence and support. Moving on to Psalm 27, 1, it describes the Lord as our light and salvation, banishing darkness and fear. It compels us not to be afraid, for the Lord is the stronghold of our lives. This verse underscores God's role as our protector and deliverer, dispelling any fears we may have. Finally, Zephaniah 3:17 portrays God as a mighty warrior who saves. It tells us that God takes great delight in us and will rejoice over us with singing. This verse shows us God's joy and love for us, reassuring us that we are cherished and protected. God's unwavering presence, his salvation, and his delight in us are powerful reminders that we need not fear. Our final scriptures are Matthew 28:20, Psalm 118, 6, and Hebrews 13, 5, 6. In Matthew 28:20, Jesus reassures his disciples, and by extension all believers, that his presence is a constant reality. This verse comes at the tail end of the Great Commission, where Jesus commands his disciples to make disciples of all nations. He ends this mandate with a comforting promise, and surely I am with you always, to the very end of the age. This promise extends beyond the disciples and reaches us today, reminding us that no matter what we face, we are not alone. Moving on to Psalm 118, 6, we find a confident declaration, "The Lord is with me, I will not be afraid. What can mere mortals do to me?" This verse is a bold affirmation of trust in God's presence and protection. It encourages believers not to fear any danger or adversity because the Lord, who is more powerful than any human force, is with them. Lastly, we have Hebrews 13, 5, 6, which echoes the sentiments of Psalm 118. Here, the author encourages believers to be content with what they have, reminding them of God's promise, "Never will I leave you, never will I forsake you." This verse then culminates into a confident proclamation, "The Lord is my helper, I will not be afraid. What can mere mortals do to me?" This mirrors the sentiment of Psalm 118, reiterating that with God on our side, we have no reason to fear. All these verses, whether they come as a promise from Jesus himself or a confident affirmation from the psalmist and the author of Hebrews, emphasize one thing: God's presence. They underscore the reality that God is with us, offering us strength and courage in our moments of fear. These scriptures reaffirm that we can confidently say, "The Lord is my helper, I will not fear." We've journeyed through 10 powerful scriptures, all echoing the same message: do not fear, God is with you. Each verse, a beacon of hope, a testament of God's unwavering presence and protection. From Isaiah assuring us of God's strength and support, to Joshua's command to be strong and courageous, knowing that God is with us wherever we go. We've walked through the darkest valley with Psalm 23 and emerged unscathed, comforted by God's rod and staff. The words of Isaiah, Deuteronomy, and Psalm 27 reminded us of God's redeeming love, his promise to accompany us, and his role as our light, our salvation, our stronghold. Zephaniah revealed a God who delights in us, who rejoices over us with singing, and the teachings of Matthew, Psalm 118, and Hebrews affirmed God's perpetual presence, his promise to never leave nor forsake us. Remember, whatever you face, you are not alone. God is with you. Do not fear.